This gave me PTSD. I had a PTSD attack when I saw this. Okay. The Navy, a Navy ship out of San Diego, California, tried to screw 400 sailors out of holiday leave with an extra long COVID-19 quarantine. When I saw this, I was like, oh, here we go. I can talk about this one. The crew of the USS Rushmore was ordered to return to the ship despite being told that they had Thanksgiving weekend off. So here's the deal. The USS Rushmore, San Diego-based ship, said they had a quarantine to halt the spread of the novel coronavirus while getting the ship ready for sea, and that has led to a crisis in morale. Last Saturday, the crew, let me pull up Safari here. The crew of about 400 was ordered to return to the ship, despite being told they had the Thanksgiving weekend off. That night, they were also going to be sequestered on board the ship while in port for 28 days beginning last Monday to prepare for a 7-day period at sea. Listen to me. They were going to quarantine the sailors on a ship for 28 days to prepare for 1 week underway. A total, if my math is correct, of 35 days. 35 days they were going to have these guys and gals on this ship over Christmas. Are you joking? Over Christmas. They were going to have them on there for Christmas, canceling holiday leave, canceling Thanksgiving. What the hell is that about? So, and I'll get into what it was about. But the ship life is tough. I talked about it in the show before. Ship life is tough. There's this thing that the Navy does called a fast cruise. And a fast cruise, I actually have been on fast cruise on New Year's, as a matter of fact, on my very first deployment on the Reagan. The fast cruise, what that is before and underway, they bring everybody onto the ship, and you have to live on the ship for the days leading up to your underway. And the reason that they do that is to make sure that they have a good accountability, to make sure that the ship's in good working order, and that nothing goes wrong on the moment that they're going to go pull out of port. Because that's a big process. When a ship pulls in and out of port, that's actually a big deal. And it takes a lot of organization. It has to be on time too, because port ops are a big part of that. So you have to work with the port in order to get in and out of the ship, or in and out of the port, like get your ship off the pier. So the worst part of ship life is being on the ship when it's not sailing. Like, imagine you're in the Navy and you have to live on board a ship with all those people in that tiny little rack with that ship food, and you're right there. You can see your house. You can look off the boat. You can see your house. And you're like, I just want to go home. And you're like, nope. You're done with work at 4 o'clock, but you have a good night. Go back to your rack. Sweepers, man your brooms. It's torturous. It's seriously not a fun deal. You go on fast cruise. It is a morale killer. And I'm talking about 48 hours, 72 hours, 5 days is brutal. And that's not even, forget about holidays. Forget about the fact that it's over Christmas. So this ship is going on a 28-day fast cruise for their 1 week underway. And that doubles the Navy standard 14-day, which I guess is what they're doing for COVID. So Navy leaders on Tuesday abandoned the sequester plan after the Union Tribune asked about it. So after it broke on the media, they got their act together. They said the crew will be permitted to leave the ship, a Navy official with knowledge of the event said. According to the official, the 28-day sequester was announced by the ship's captain, but it would not have been approved by the fleet commanders in San Diego. But the ship's captain had initiated the sequester before finalizing the scheduling plans with leadership. I got to see the result of this command climate survey. When that ship does their command climate survey, I got to see the results. The skipper has a big say in the morale of the ship, and this was going to be one of the worst morale events in the history of the U.S. Navy. This is like up there with getting your deployment extended, getting your orders canceled, finding out that your wife moved away with your kids while you were gone, something like that. Like, this is a bad morale booster. So according to the official, so Commander Nicole Schwegman, a Naval Surface Force U.S. Pacific Fleet spokeswoman, said in a statement Wednesday that the crew will be with their families over the holidays. Leadership is making every effort to maximize the holiday leave period so that the sailors will have a chance to spend time with their families while also ensuring that the ship is able to meet readiness requirements. The 29-year-old USS Rushmore is an amphibious dock landing ship. It has spent more than a year in maintenance since returning to San Diego after an 8-month deployment. So it's been in maintenance for a while. Now, here's where it gets like, okay, I can sort of understand the thinking of the skipper, right? So before we get into this, let's really quick, the skipper's responsible for the ship. The mission comes first. Mission first, sailor always. The ship has to meet mission. That's the deal. Okay, that's the deal. So when I read this part, I was like, okay, I kind of see what is going on here. Do I think it was the right move? Absolutely, I do not. But here's the deal. Recently, the ship failed 2 critical assessments that are required before going to sea. Its chief engineer was fired after the first assessment failed in October, sailors on board the ship said. Before conventionally powered ships can leave port, the crews must demonstrate they can start the engines in what the Navy calls the light-off assessment. The Rushmore failed its first light-off assessment in October and its second on November 25th, basically Thanksgiving. So the ship failed its 2 assessments, which are a big deal. There's all these events on the ship. A big one that you might remember if you were in the Navy on a ship was INSURV, inspection and survey, right? You do these big inspections prior to going on deployment. They're conducted by a third-party Navy command who comes on there and decides if your ship is ready to go or not, and they failed. And when a ship fails inspection, stand by. You can plan on standing by and spending a lot of time on that ship, and maybe rightfully so. Maybe you got to get your act together. Maybe you got to go repair the ship. I mean, that's the deal. The fleet's got to stay up. So, according to the sailors on board, the ship had a significant outbreak of COVID-19 early in November, resulting in more than 100 crew members being quarantined off the ship. Many of the affected sailors work in the engineering department, the most involved in the light-off assessments. Okay, so now it's the puzzle pieces are starting to come together. This is almost starting to make sense now. Schwegman confirmed there had been a coronavirus cluster on the ship, but did not say how many sailors were sick or quarantined. The Defense Department also has not been disclosing COVID-19 case numbers by ship since the pandemic's earliest days. Now look at these ads. Being able to get a ship to sea is a key requirement of Navy commanders. The Rushmore's commanding officer, Commander Robin Marling, is under pressure to not fail a 3rd assessment. Yeah, that's 100% true, or else that skipper's going to be getting fired. While the onboard sequester is over, the pressure to get back on schedule is still on. The crew's working hours ahead of the next assessment has been extended. Shifts are working from 6:45 a.m. to 8 p.m. through December 18th. If the ship passes, members of the crew will be able to take the holiday leave and travel outside the area. But Schwegman declined to say what would happen if the ship fails. Well, the skipper's probably going to get fired, and then that ship is going to be in big trouble. Probably get higher command oversight. Some admiral comes on board. It's going to be a bad day. The Navy has been the most visible military branch, straining to maintain operations during the pandemic. The San Diego-based aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt made worldwide news when it was sidelined for more than 2 months, and one chief, Charles Thacker, died of COVID. The incident led to the reassignment of former commander Brett Crozier, and then the Secretary of the Navy was eventually fired for that. So COVID has just been a bad deal. Despite just returning from deployment this summer, the Roosevelt is also expected to deploy again within 3 weeks. That's common for a ship to deploy and then redeploy again under like a RIMPAC mission or something like that. So the Navy is under a lot of pressure right now, and that story was totally insane. I feel bad for the sailors on that ship who were about to be sequestered on board, quarantined, for a month to just prepare for a 1 week underway, which is probably just sea trials to make sure that the ship is seaworthy. But they can't even get their engine started. But their engineering department did have a giant outbreak of COVID, and they failed 2 of their assessments. So, that is not good. So the USS Rushmore, that is not good. Good luck getting your ship together. Get your ship together. Would you guys buy a t-shirt that said, get your ship together? If you would, let me know in the comments down below. Like this video and share it. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button up in the corner here and check out this next video. If you want, in the description down below, there's links where you can get ScuttleButt Show merch and find out how you can support the channel. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you guys very soon.